Jerusalem, on the streets. Sounds surround her as she walks. Noise layers upon noise. Donkeys bray, haggling shouts, laughter. The smells of a busy marketplace flock the air. Olive oil, baking bread, fresh timber, pungent ointments. She walks up to a man. They exchange words. She hands over a large bag of coins, picks up her purchase, and leaves. She heads home, carrying the jar carefully in her arms. It is perfect alabaster, smooth, faultless. The touch of it soothes her. She had seen the troubled look in his eyes as he spoke. She had been part of the crowd cheering as he rode into Jerusalem. And she sought him out after that, intrigued by his words and by his presence. He had told a story that day, she remembers, a vineyard owner who leased his land to farmers. They killed his servants one by one, until finally he had only his son left. But the farmers had killed him too. She had watched him as he spoke, noted the subtle changes in his expression, seen the faces of the Jewish leaders as they looked at him, heard their harsh voices as they questioned him. He seemed like a man who carried much. She reaches home, places the jar carefully by the door, removes her headscarf, and she rests. Later, the sky fades, and she wraps herself in cloak and scarf, picks up the jar, leaves the house. She treads through the gathering shadows, the darkening streets, reaches the place she seeks, pushes open the door and steps over the threshold. She hears murmuring voices in one of the rooms. Carrying the jar, she follows their sound. He is here. Poised, she moves to where he sits, opens the jar, and pours its contents over him. A cloud of sweet scent rises. She bows her head, hears the other voices, hard, questioning, but she doesn't hear the words they say. She doesn't raise her head until she hears the voice she knows. Leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a wonderful, generous thing for me. You will always have the poor with you. You can help them anytime you want. But you will not always have me. She looks into his face. Disquiet sits in his eyes, and she knows he understands. This woman has done the only thing she could do for me. She poured perfume on my body to prepare me for burial. I tell you the truth. Wherever people hear about me in the world, her story will be told. People will hear of what she did for me, and they will remember her. His words both lift and unnerve her. He speaks with kindness, yet his words are heavy with unanswered questions. And the expression in her eyes mirrors the one that called to her when he spoke outside the temple.